Binge the full week of The Ray Taylor Show ad-free over at inspireddisorder.com/plus.
This is The Ray Taylor Show.
Rona Dayz, episode 93 of the show where I recap my week, as it's been a interesting week. A few things have happened. A few things almost happened. A few things happened around me. Let's start with the fact that I got about as close to the Omicron virus, I assume it's the Omicron virus, as, or any version of COVID that I've been close to getting the entire pandemic. As far as I know, I have yet to get it. Obviously, along with probably millions of other people, I kind of felt like I got it at the beginning of this thing. Before everything locked in, like February, I felt like, but it was very mild, let's say, even milder than what they consider to be quote unquote mild these days. So I don't know if I actually got it back then or not, but I've been pretty safe. There was a little scare early on. There was another roommate living in this house. So I have currently just one roommate who owns the house, and she has a child. And we had another roommate at the time early on in the pandemic who was a nurse, and she thought she may have gotten it. So there was a scare there. Obviously, the test came back negative, so she didn't get it, but that we took all the precautions, making sure she secluded herself in the room. Everything got wiped down, everything. And I'm in a different kind of spot. I'm in a detached garage, so I have... The only thing I need to go inside the house is to use the restroom. So that's good. But recently, especially just after getting my booster shot, not even a week after getting it, like a few days, I got my booster shot last week, and like a few days later that weekend, I found out that my roommate, my friend, her baby daddy, the dad of her kid, who they're separated, he has his own place. He tested positive for COVID because he was out fucking around, partying, or whatever he does. I am not a big fan of his. I do not think he's a good guy, and I'm very happy that they no longer are together. And he tested positive, which when he found out, it was his time watching their kid. And for whatever reason, so my initial thought was, okay, well, he's going to have to quarantine with his kid for like a week, right? Which I knew would be something he wouldn't want to do because he only watches his kid when it's convenient for him. It is amazing to hear the reasoning why he decides not to see. He takes a week off every month or two. In my estimation, he's got the 2-3 days he sees of his kid a week is sometimes just not convenient for him, and he has to just take a breather until he's got to take a week off here and there. So that was like the no-brainer thought. It's like, okay, well then he's just gonna take care of his kid for a week. Right? Because he's not going to go to work. Can't go to work, even if it's a 5-day quarantine, which is stupid, should be 10-day. He should be watching his kid. Because at this household, nobody's sick. Nobody's tested positive. So what you do is you take the infected people, and by the way, his kid had already been there for like 3 days. So obviously, not showing symptoms, but obviously infected. You're not hanging out in the same apartment with somebody who likes to yell and talk a lot, probably not wearing a mask in his own apartment. You're hanging out, you're around the most contagious version of this virus, the Omicron, where it's like 5 times more contagious than the original. Yeah, he may not be showing symptoms, but yeah, the kid's probably infected. So it's probably good that they quarantine together. Get some father-son time together. And the crazy thing, the next day, I think it was the next day, I find out, I'm like making breakfast or whatever, and out my window, I see the kid running up. And in that moment, I thought, oh shit, the dad just dropped the kid off, right? His mom, I thought she went to go run errands or whatever, and I thought the dad dropped him off because he's like, nah, I'm not going to watch him for the week. And I'm like, what the fuck? Because the way the kid looked, like he was looking inside for his mom. But he wasn't. I think he was just looking inside to see where the dog was. But because at the door, my roommate's like, so somebody talked to a nurse that said that he should be taken away from the dad, quarantined separate for some reason because he's not showing signs. So then the kid was quarantined here, which doesn't make any sense whatsoever. I don't know who this nurse is, but nurses have shown to not be reliable sources of information when it comes to the virus, considering how many of them were let go for not getting a vaccine. I'm going to trust people who study this shit. Like, I follow a few people who are like not trying to be celebrities. They're not celebrity doctors. They're people who have spent their life studying a thing, studying viruses. Those are the people who I'm going to listen to. I'm not going to listen to a government organization that's clearly making decisions based on what corporations want them to do, like the CDC. In my opinion, it would be they should have quarantined together for 10 days, and then the kid can come back, go to school, whatever. And then also, apparently, the school was like, oh, he can come to school too, which I thought was stupid. I'm like, they don't care. Like, just because they say these things, it's not like we know why they changed their stance on making everything so short is to get people back to work, is to make sure kids are in school, to make it seem like everything's normal. But no. So this kid is here, which I don't go inside anyway, but when I do have to use the restroom, I'm going to wear this mask. So I have N95 masks. I'm going in and out. His mom is probably going to get it, I would imagine, because I know that kid's not in the room 24/7, and when he gets out of the room, I know he's not wearing a mask, and the kid likes to be loud and yell, just like his dad. And I know he's not wearing a mask. So I'm sure it would be insane if she didn't get it. Thankfully, she's boosted and everything. I'm boosted and everything. So we're not going to get, like, bad. But it's still like, why did it even come to this? Why would you take the whole idea of quarantining is to put people who are potentially infected away from healthy people. That is the purpose of it. Not to, like, take a potentially infected. You have to assume that somebody that was hanging out for 3 days with somebody who's COVID positive is going to have caught COVID. The easiest assumption you could have to try and play it safe. The Many Faces is an ongoing abstract ink portrait series that I started many years ago. I release a new face every day, but go to inspireddisorder.com to check them out. So many available. But as a listener to The Ray Taylor Show, you can save 10% when you use coupon code INSPIRED when you check out. So go to inspireddisorder.com/TMF, that stands for The Many Faces. Go check them out, browse the entire collection, and when you decide on a piece, or maybe multiple pieces, make sure you use coupon code INSPIRED when you check out, and you'll save 10%. As a big thank you for checking out my work, for collecting my work, and for listening to The Ray Taylor Show. And with that said, let's get back to the show. You're not going to take that person out of a quarantine situation and then bring them into a living situation where you have two healthy people that are not infected. That doesn't make any sense to me. But that was the reality. So I was not very happy this week. That made me angry. because it's like unnecessary, putting people at risk unnecessarily. But like, what can I do? My opinion, it's not my house. It's not my kid. I have no say. I just have to, shut the fuck up and just let whatever happen. Just make sure I avoid as much as possible. So, like, this the fact that I haven't been drinking, I realized, because I haven't had really any desire to drink up until the when I, like, the anger that I felt when I saw this situation unfolding. It's like, oh, well, it's probably good that I didn't drink, because that would have lowered my immune system. And if I did catch it, and I'm starting to get, like, seasonally getting, like, stuffy and stuff like that, which is normal anyway. But, because of this, it's like, well, maybe I have it. I can still smell and taste. I don't feel like I have the flu. I just feel like it's like every year when I think it's like a seasonal allergy thing where I get a little stuffy. It's a little colder too. So I don't know. Maybe I have it. Maybe I don't. I don't know. I'm not going anywhere. I'm not, I still wear my mask now everywhere. Now, anytime I leave the garage, I'm pretty much wearing a mask unless I'm out walking the dog. But yeah, so that was kind of my week. And I realized that anger triggers my desire to drink. Cause like, and it for sure is like, I remember, cause every day I would be angry working at my old job, Costco, just the just horrible bosses that work there. Just the not only the customers that treat you like shit, but also the management that treats you like shit. Like making it the department I worked in, which was electronics, really encouraging everybody from every department to really disrespect us in every way. It was the kind of work environment that I had to deal with while I was there. And so a lot of the times when I'd get home, I'd be mad because, like, I hate this job. I can't afford to, like, I'm not going to get paid this much. I had a mortgage. I had a life where I had to afford. I had a lot of overhead. I had no options. I was stuck. So I'd get angry. And the only way for me, the only way I would deal with it was drinking. Like, drinking, I mean, even though drinking ramped up my anger, but if anger was like a fuse or a candle, drinking would make that candle melt down a lot faster. Versus not drinking, it's like this just residual anger that's around and then slowly tapers off as the days go on. Where like now I'm not necessarily angry anymore, but I understand my place. I understand how valued my opinion is on things that happen around me, or how unvaluable my opinion is on things. So I guess that's good. I learned something from it. But yeah, definitely wanted to throw back some drinks. But I didn't, because I would have to ask my roommate to buy it. And I just don't feel like, which I could, she would, it wouldn't be a big deal, but I don't want to drink. I'm kind of enjoying not drinking, but I realize that anger definitely is a trigger for me. Few things. I released some new NFTs. So I'm slowly adding more and more. Think of NFTs for anybody that's confused. Why would somebody want a digital picture? I could just copy it from your Instagram, Ray, or your Twitter, or your website. It's not the picture. It's like a stock. When you buy stock in a company, you're not getting a chunk of that company. You're not getting like a brick. You're not getting like a bolt that's in one of the robots that makes a thing. If you buy Apple stock, you have like a certificate that means that you own a piece of Apple. And as Apple makes money, this piece of stock will be worth more. So when you go to sell it in the future, you'll be able to sell it for a lot more than you bought it for, thus you making money. But in the transaction of you selling it, I make money. As the company, the corporation that you're buying stock in. So that's what NFTs are. If you want to buy stock in me as an artist, as somebody that creates podcasts, as somebody that just creates things, this is how you do it. And it's a way for you to not only help support me, but a way for you to earn on my growth. As I grow, as the work I do becomes more valuable, that NFT will become more valuable, thus allowing you to make money off of that NFT in time. So, if that's something you're interested in, I dropped a bunch more NFTs, which you can go to inspireddisorder.com/NFT or search The Many Faces by Ray Taylor on OpenSea.io. That is where they are currently sold at the moment. Apparently, Coinbase might be doing an NFT type of thing as well, so I may release NFTs on different platforms. But right now, that's where they are. You can get links. All the links are inspireddisorder.com/NFT. So I posted more of those up, and more will be coming soon. I have hundreds to be created. So, get in now as they were. They are not for sale technically, but you can make me an offer, and all offers will be considered. But eventually they will be up for sale as well. But right now they're just kind of there, and you can make an offer to purchase one, and I will, I'll probably honor whatever it is, even if it's even if I'm like losing money on it, just to get the ball rolling. But that is something that I did this week. Also got into the show BattleBots, a show that I loved watching probably 20 years ago. I want to say it was in my mid-20s, my early 20s when I watched BattleBots. It was like on Discovery, still on Discovery, on the app. I have access to the Discovery Plus app. And BattleBots was one of those fun shows where it's like these teams of engineers get together, they build a robot with like weapons on it, and they go in and they fight. And it's fun. It's like a modern upgrade of that show. With some cool robots. You have Kenny Florian, which is a former MMA fighter, former UFC. I don't know if he was a champion in UFC. He might have been, or got really close to it. But I love Kenny Florian anyway. Amazing fighter, amazing human, and he's one of the commentators. And I really enjoyed it. BattleBots. It was like crazy to kind of go back and watch. Also, Wipeout. There's a new Wipeout that's on HBO Max, hosted by John Cena and she's then the woman that does like almost every Netflix competition show, like nailed it. I'm blanking on her name right now. Let's see here. Wipeout. But Wipeout's fun. It's like it's a competition, like a obstacle course show, but water-based, and people that compete aren't necessarily athletically gifted. It's John Cena and oh, come on, where are we at here? John Cena and Nicole Byer. Join Inspired Disorder Plus today. Head on over to inspireddisorder.com/plus to join. Membership includes members-only discounts and deals. You get access to the Ray Taylor Show completely ad-free, as well as bonus episodes. You get access to the complete live painting archive. You also get access to every single podcast ever produced by Inspired Disorder, hosted by Ray Taylor. You get access to Ray Taylor's personal blog, as well as the opportunity to ask me any questions. So if you want to start a podcast, you're into art, ask me anything. And so many more things are being added every day to Inspired Disorder Plus. So sign up today, become a member, head on over to inspireddisorder.com/plus and become an Inspired Disorder Plus member today. Which she's fun. She's like the host of so many shows. Definitely got a great attitude, great personality. I enjoy it. But as far as like the competition reality shows and the people they get to host, it would be nice if, there were more hosts and it wasn't just like a situation where you have somebody that hosts the show. They host like all these other shows. It just gets confusing and it doesn't, I don't know. I think it takes away from that show's identity. I don't know. I think she's great. I would love for more actors and comedians to get hosting jobs instead of it just going to a handful of people. But she does a great job. So I enjoyed it. Watched a little bit of that last night as well, which is kind of crazy because both BattleBots and Wipeout were shows that I don't think I watched. I mean, BattleBots for sure. I was never high. I didn't start smoking weed till I was 30. And Wipeout was a show. Maybe I was getting high when Wipeout was popular, but I don't think so. I think that was another one where shows that are really kind of shows that are great for when you're high because they're, Wipeout specifically is funny just to watch people. I mean, it's an obstacle course to watch people fail. So yeah, both of those are fun. Kind of fun, almost nostalgic throwbacks to go back and watch because they weren't as entertaining necessarily as I remembered them being as a kid. Like I could just sit down and watch them for hours just watching them. But yeah, still fun. They're basically shows that I can be on my phone and not worry about missing anything. They're kind of like good background shows. But yeah, so I've been into both of those. And last but not least, last night, as I record this, it is Sunday, even though this show comes out on Thursday. But yesterday, which would have been last Saturday for those watching and listening to it on the day of this episode's release, was a live stream version of my favorite podcast, one of my favorite podcasts, All Fantasy Everything, which is primarily an audio podcast, but they did a video version, so it's not really anything additional having video, but you get to see the hosts and the people who are part of the show as they are hilarious. It is a very funny show. The premise of All Fantasy Everything is that 3 to 4 people get together. Generally, Ian Carmel, David Bory, Sean Jordan are the primary suspects in this show. Sometimes they will have a guest, and they will draft items from a specific topic. So the topic of their live stream was movie props you would love to own. And then they go around and then they pick their picks and they talk about it, and it's hilarious. There's a little banter at the beginning. They also did a Q&A afterwards. I loved it. I love the show in general, but even though podcasts aren't necessarily a visual medium like this show you're watching now or listening to, you don't need to watch this show. It helps for Swipe Up, where I'm showing pictures and video. But primarily, you can listen to this and not really lose much. But for me, even though a show doesn't require you to watch video, I love to see people's reactions and watch them talk. And kind of, it adds, it's something that, like BattleBots or Swipe Up, it's something that you can have on in the background, where I can listen to it. But then if I hear, like, there's this crazy reaction, I can see the reaction on the people. I enjoy seeing the visual body language that happens in podcasts. And it was great. It was so much fun. It was like 2.5 hours long. Apparently, they're going to be doing more of them, which I am looking forward to. It was free. I don't know if the future ones will be free, but I enjoyed it. Saturdays primarily are the day that I prep. I do all of my prep work for this show, setting up all the equipment, getting all of my whiteboards prepared, making sure I watched everything, getting my website posts all set up, basically making today as easy as possible. So I got all my prep done like an hour before the stream started, which was perfect. It was like perfect timing, and a great way to end the day. I decided to eat an edible because I was done with my work, and I kind of ate a strong edible. I ate a little bit more than it's actually syrup, and I just drank a little bit more than I thought I would. Like I think I did like maybe close to 200 milligrams. It's like the jar is like, it almost looks like cough syrup, and the total amount of weed in the jar is 1,000 milligrams, which is great. So like if you sip like maybe a Jolly Rancher size, you're getting about 100 milligrams, which is high. That's a high amount, but that's like kind of my sweet spot is like 100 milligrams, where it's like, it's really going to affect me, but it's not going to completely disable me. And it got me. It got me so good that not only did I sleep amazing last night, but when I woke up this morning, I felt dead. I felt dead to the world. Like my body was coming back from death, it felt like. Not in a bad way, just like the amount of energy I had. I was so relaxed and comfortable in bed that when I got up, it was like it took a while before I felt comfortable enough to start recording. Like I was like, I'm going to take my time to wake up today because that edible is still kicking. But yeah, by the time I started recording around noon, it was pretty much gone. Like the tea that I drank had kind of overpowered it, and I'm just have like this immense sense of calm and relaxation, which is perfect. It was great. I might do another. I might just try and get another thing because that syrup bottle's almost out. And I might just try and get another one of those because there is no type of relaxation that is as amazing as coming off like a high dose edible. But yeah, it was a great night, despite the fact I had a shitty week. Despite the fact that I was angry for most of the week, despite the fact that I may have contracted COVID, the fact that my roommate may have contracted COVID, the fact that her kid had COVID, and her ex has COVID. Like I hopefully survived it, hopefully didn't get it, but we'll see. Hopefully that aspect is come and gone, and it is in the rearview mirror, and no longer a concern. But that's been my week. I hope everybody else has had a good week. I hope everybody has gotten their booster shots, their vaccines. Assuming you are able to actually get a vaccine. For those that aren't, I am sorry, and hopefully you are able to avoid the stupidity that seems to be as infectious as the Omicron variant. But, yeah, hope everybody's been having a good week. Until next week. New episodes of The Ray Taylor Show come out every single day. Subscribe on YouTube and everywhere our podcasts are found. Binge the full week over at InspiredDisorder.com/plus. Buy Ray Taylor Show merch over at InspiredDisorder.com. And follow the show on Instagram at Ray Taylor Show. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Peace out!
Today is the day where you wake up and you realize that everything that you've been dreaming about, everything that you've been wanting, every goal and wish and hope that you've ever had can become real. Dreams can come true. What you manifest in your mind, you can